Hello everyone. I am, not for the first time, trying something totally new on the channel. Not just a new game, but a new kind of game. I guess I'm in a kind of variety-seeking mode these past few weeks. This game is the Dreamhold, which is what we will be playing in this video, and I don't know about this game. I assume it's not that long, but I don't know. Maybe it's longer than I thought. But I do want to talk about why I'm playing this. So, the Dreamhold is... It was pitched to me as an introductory game to the genre of interactive fiction. Or maybe to the genre of games written in the Inform language, which is a programming language that is tailor-made for this kind of text adventure sort of thing. I've played, numerous text games before of various kinds. I've played some text programming games, which you've seen some of on the channel, I'm sure. Back in my youth, I played a MUD, a multi-user domain. Back when... Was it Medivia 4? I think it was 4 at the time. I looked around a few years ago, and there's still something called Medivia, but it's like... at any rate, there was a few years ago, but it was totally different from what I played back then. Kind of a many MMOs before MMOs existed. It was an MMO, but with text, and you'd... So I played that as a teenager. And that, you would not call that interactive fiction, but it's an example of a text kind of game that I've played. I never played the classic Zork, but I'm sure I played others like it. Well, others in this rough genre. Anyway, so this all came about because I saw a post just mere minutes ago on the Broguelike Games Discord. You may recall I have some videos, you can find them on my channel, of some Michael Brogue, I don't know how you say his name, Brogue, maybe, games, 868 Hack, and Cinco Paus, which I love both of, and I still play Cinco Paus regularly to this day off camera. Which, by the way, I eventually did actually win a game a couple years after my first play. But there was a post on the Discord server. Someone was talking about, wouldn't it be cool if a game like so-and-so existed? And they were like, it would be kind of like a roguelike-y version of the Gostak. I would love if someone could invent a roguelike-y version of the Gostak. And they described what the game is like, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. And I went and read some reviews of it. And it's like a text adventure game, but where a huge part of the game is discovering the vocabulary. Like, there's a million made-up nonsense words, and it's hard to understand any of the senses. And you want to, take notes and understand what thing... Yeah, anyway. So that seemed quite interesting to me. But when I looked at the reviews for it, they were all very positive. Everyone's like, you got to play this game. But at least 2 of them said, this is not a good first game in the genre, because it assumes you know about some, it helps to know about some genre conventions, like the kinds of things that the model, whatever that is, might include. And so, I don't know. I thought maybe because I played stuff like a MUD, and I played, Day of the Tentacle back in the day, I know about, look wall, give ostrich money, or whatever, commands you can enter into a text adventure game. And I asked in the Discord server, hey, is that kind of information what they're thinking of, that they say I need to know, or should I know something else? And a person there the same person in fact who recommended to me Cinco Paus, said, well, I don't remember, it's been a long time since I played, but why don't you play the Dreamhold, which was a game written explicitly as an introduction to the genre of Inform games. So here we are. I thought if I'm going to play it, it would be fun to play it. Why not play it on camera? That's sort of my default choice for new things that might be interesting. And we'll discover it together. And hopefully, after this, I'll go play the Gostak or Gostak. I always forget. The Gostak. Okay. So, we have... This is just hosted on a website. Is it the website of the guy who made the game? I don't know. It says Andrew Plotkin. I think he... I looked at this guy's Wikipedia because I thought the name was familiar, but it clearly was not. Anyway, whatever. I don't know whose website this is. It says, Zarf's IF. Is Zarf Andrew Plotkin? I don't know. Maybe. Okay, let's finally get started here. So I guess this is describing our location here. Cell, probably. Oh, it's been a while since I've done proper... dramatic reading. I thought I would at least try to get a little bit into this and not read it in a YouTube monotone. Well, YouTube isn't about monotone, right? But I guess the YouTube kind of... There's a lot of wow, very excited, breathless voices talking, never take a pause. That's kind of the YouTube accent in a way. But when people are reading text they are new to, a lot of people are not great readers. I'll try to do a good job with it, is all I'm saying. I don't want to toot my own horn, but... Cell. Time shifts and flattens. Days and decades folding aside like pages in a book. You can see the Dreamhold. A tutorial adventure by Andrew Plotkin. Copyright 2003-4. First-time players should type about, which I will do once I've done reading all this. Release 5, serial number 041231. Inform... Version 6.21, library 6/10. Okay, arguably I didn't have to read this stuff, but I did. You wrench your eyes open. Rough gray stone. Gray stone ceiling. Your head hurts and you're lying on the floor. You're staring at the ceiling, and it's rough and gray, and you don't recognize it. You roll slowly. Smooth, cold floor? And try to sit up. It hurts. You crawl upright. The walls, rough stone also, scrape your aching fingers. You can't... There was white agony. Felt like raw light tearing you apart. You can't remember anything after that. You can't remember anything before that. Gone. You clutch at memory, and there's nothing but empty air. Cell. This space... barely wider than outstretched arms, seems to have been chopped raw and square from unfinished stone. Only the floor is smooth, a fine white surface beneath your feet. There is a narrow gap in the east wall. And then there's a prompt. Don't know how to get started? Type help and then hit enter. Yes, so this caret is a very clear indication that that's where we're supposed to type, and indeed there's a blinking cursor as well. But that's not a caret, excuse me. It's a prompt, I guess. So it says type help, but it also said new players should type about. So we'll do that first and see what's going on with all that. The Dreamhold is a gentle introduction to the world of interactive fiction. Come on, could you at least write it out here the very first time I'm seeing it? It's a small game and not too difficult. More importantly, the Dreamhold features the tutorial voice. A helpful guide that will lead you through the basics of playing a text adventure. When you see a message like this, it's the tutorial voice speaking. Oh, how nice. Type help to learn how to play interactive fiction. If you want to play the game without the tutorial voice holding your hand, type tutorial off. And for a challenge, type expert. Certain puzzles will be somewhat harder in expert mode. Sure, I guess we'll read the credits here. The Dreamhold is copyright 2003-4 by Andrew Plotkin. I created it with Inform, a free text adventure development language created by Graham Nelson. My thanks for the beta testing effort of many people, notably Emily Short, Dan Efron, Julia Tenney, Karen Fabricius, and Alicia McDonald. And also the generous players and commenters of Rec Games Int Fiction. If you are interested in playing more IF, you can find my other games at link. The great archive of all free text adventures is link. You can find games there to suit any taste. You may wish to use Baff's guide, link, to help you find and choose games from the archive. Okay, so this taught me what the tutorial voice is and how I can turn it off if I want, basically. And help is to learn how to play interactive fiction. Well, I will leave that for now and see if I can just feel my way through based on what I remember being stuff you would do in a mud or in Day of the Tentacle or what I've heard about games like Zork. So the first thing is, if I just say, look, can I see the room description again? Yes. Okay. And let's look east. I only say, okay, look, gap, east. Okay. I thought I was going to look through the gap. I didn't know necessarily that I could move through it. You duck your head and push through the gap. Narrow hallway. Ah, and now look, this up here is updated. My current location is up here. But we can still scroll back to see things that were there before. All right. You are standing in a short, windowless hallway. To the east is the foot of a flight of stairs, which rises out of sight. To the west, the hallway narrows, ending in a small gap of a doorway. Oh, gosh. Do we want to do a Clippy voice? I don't think so. Looks like you've taken the first step. Well done. Let me introduce myself. I am the voice of this tutorial. Most games don't have me, but in this game, I will watch over your shoulder and give you some help. With little practice, you'll soon be moving around the text-adventure world in style. Back to the story. Remember what's going on? Actually, you don't. As the introduction said, you can't remember who you are or what you're doing here. Amnesia. Yes, it's a cliche, but it'll do for a tutorial. I'll let you go on exploring. The west corridor leads back to the cell where you started, so you'll want to try up the stairs instead. Try up or climb stairs. Okay, but let me look around first, because I already forgot what it was there. The tutorial voice was so long. Okay, there's a hallway. There's no windows. To the east is the foot of a flight of stairs. Yeah. Oh. So if I say east, is that going to go up the stairs, or is it going to say, no, you should go up or climb stairs? Okay, east. Yes, that's also climbing the stairs. But they're pointing out that you could go up. Also climb stairs, apparently. I would never think to type that. I'm used to typing NESW and UD for up and down. You begin climbing the stairs. They seem to go on for a long while. Pressing between dim stone walls. Where's the light coming from? You haven't seen a window yet. Climbing. How far? Until you pass through a doorway into warm candlelight. Crowded study. You stand amid clutter, oddments, shelves, and stacks. The chamber is comfortably broad, centered around a massive and well-worn wooden desk. But so much is jammed in around the desk and up the paneled walls that you barely find room to stand. By the way, very British. I don't know if Andrew Plotkin is British, but I personally use double L's in a lot more words than is typical in American writing. Like, I don't know, traveling, I would write two L's in, and I don't think that's common here in America. But I wouldn't put it in paneled. So this guy is even more British than me. As an American. Big surprise. Okay. And up the paneled walls that you barely find room to stand. Books, papers, dried plants, animals, stuffed and preserved. Oh, no. Animals, stuffed and preserved. Antique instruments, candles of any hue. You don't recognize half of it, and you can't name the rest. There are wide doorways on the north and east sides of the room. A door of heavy wood stands closed to the south, and stairs descend into dimness to the west. You see an immense book on the desk. Behind the desk is a tall, glass-fronted cabinet. Beside that is a small brass trunk, which is closed. If there were a quarter as much here and a tenth as many books, you might be in any scholar's study. But this knowledge must represent lifetimes of work, lifetimes under a single hand. You do not know where you are, but you know what this place is, a Dreamhold, a wizard's high house. You do not find yourself afraid. A Dreamhold is more than merely dangerous. So if I type look, how much of this do I get back? Okay, interesting. Not all of it. So like this part was a first time only description of the room. Curious. I guess that makes sense. It's not describing any objects. It's just giving me a feel for the setting in a way. Okay. So, I mean, we could just go through the doorway in the north and east. I assume if we try to go south, we'll find that the door is closed. Like, if I say south, bonk into a wall. Yeah, the door is closed and locked. Okay. Let's examine. If I type Exa, is that going to work? Let's examine the trunk, please. Examine trunk? Sure. Okay. It doesn't let you abbreviate quite as much as Medivia used to. A small square trunk is pushed up against the back wall, beside a tall cabinet. The trunk's panels and lid are tarnished brass. They're engraved with worn geometric designs. The trunk sits closed. Well, okay, can I open it? You hesitate a moment. Prying into a wizard's possessions? But you're already standing in his home, and you could as easily be damned for making free with his candlelight as with his trunk. You reach out, flip up the brass lid, and step back in one movement. A copper key glints at the very bottom of the trunk. Okay, we'll take the key, please. Taken. All right. So, does that unlock the door, maybe? Oh, no. Unlock door with key? Okay. The copper key is too small to fit the door's heavy lock. The key doesn't match this door, but it could go somewhere else. All right. Well, actually, let's examine the door. The door is of heavy wooden planks strapped with iron. The knob is secured with a thick iron lock. The door is closed. Okay. Well, there was something on the desk, wasn't there? Or there was a desk anyway? The desk is heavy and plain, a massive wooden construction. Surprisingly, the surface is bare, except for an immense book. Something in the chaos catches your eye. It looks like a white papier-mâché mask lying beside the desk. All right, let's examine that. It looks like a paper mask, half life-size, but its curves are a delicately shaded illusion. The mask is flat, an inexplicable cutout of a human face. You can tell little about the person depicted. You have only an impression of unformed childhood. Something about the mask seems familiar. Not recognizable, but comfortable. As if it belonged to you, unlike everything else around you. As if it belonged to you, unlike everything else around you. Yeah. What do you mean remember? You haven't told me this yet. You haven't told me about my inventory. Sure. But yes, I would have assumed I for inventory if I needed. But I don't. I know what I have. I have a key, and that's it. Well, maybe I have more, actually. Maybe I had something else. A quill pen. I must have been holding the... Okay, you're carrying a copper key and a quill pen. You're carrying two things. You just picked up one of them, but you must have been holding the quill pen when you awoke. It may be important. Type examine the pen, take a close look at it. Ah, X is short for examine. Okay. And you can always leave out non-essential words. Fine, I'll use X then. You are holding a quill pen. A sturdy black feather, its tip carefully cut to a nib. You have no memory of where you got it or when or why. Yeah, so this could have been a good instinct, is I woke up in a strange place. Check your pockets. Who knows? You might have a teleportation machine that just gets you back home. All right, so cool. I can pick up the mask, I guess. It belongs to me. It said so, right? So let's take mask. Your score has gone up. My score is 1 out of 7. You've achieved 1 out of 7 main goals. The score increases when you pick up the white mask, so presumably there are 7 masks to find in the game. I would assume there are 7 things to do, one of which is picking up a mask. But, okay, maybe there are 7 masks. You can get a full count of your score. All right. I found 1 out of 7 masks. Well, that explains that. But that has not really helped me. Well, there's a big old book, isn't there? What's going on with the book? Oh, can I say read book? I can. Okay, it's the same as examine. For books, anyway. The book lies open. You frown at the fine angular hand, but discover that you can read it. The Theory and Understanding of Portals. Boy, very oldie Englishy. The lesser, which make a single place of many, and the greater, which open from now into time and memory or prophecy foretold, or even a moment's fancy. All portals are perilous. Perilous thresholds to cross, and more perilous to create. For there is no plying of the world or of time that does not happen in the mind of the learned one who conceives of the journey. Of your thought is the portal built, arch and capstone. Slip but a moment of your attention, and the portal will fall into ruin. All its might and yours, crumbled into eggshell fragments that stray upon the wind. The facing page shows an elaborate circular diagram, annotated here and there with tiny mathematical notes. The only comment you understand, tucked in the margin, says, best to draw in a well-insulated space. 35 LL of uncut stone? Move house to MM Valley, work into mountain? What are LL? Some unit I don't recognize. Large lumbers? Okay, so this is a wizard studying how to make portals. And I guess probably the wizard did work their home into this mountain, and that's why I've been walking around and seeing no windows. We're in the middle of a mountain, and it's lit magically because they're a wizard? Okay. Was there anything else here before I head away? There are instruments, doors, yeah, a book. Oh, there's a cabinet. Cabinet. The cabinet is a tall and ornate affair. Its feet and edges are carved into flamboyant spirals. Now, but they didn't put a U in flamboyant. Is that an English-British thing? Wait, does flamboyant? Maybe flamboyant doesn't have a U and it's only buoyant that does. Two broad and utterly flawless glass panes form the cabinet's front surface. The cabinet's shelves are filled with curiosities. Tiny crystals and worn river stones, intricate knots of wire and slabs of rough metal, scraps of folded paper and loops of colored string. A small bell of rune-scratched glass, 3 beans in a golden dish, a human hand, eye, and heart, all seemingly carved of chalk. An amethyst scale, the length of your finger, which lies in a pool of its own light. So I could try picking some of these things up. Can I look at the scale? The objects in the cabinet are as varied as memories in a dream. And so if I try to take the scale, I don't think it would let me, right? The glass panes are closed. Whatever's inside the cabinet will have to remain there. Open cabinet? Nope, it won't open, but there's no keyhole. All right, good. Tell me clearly that I can't. But why is why can I look at the cabinet? Why is the cabinet here? Is it just for flavor, or is there a reason? Okay, well, I'll leave it for now. So let's head north. Sitting room. This room seems more inviting. The walls are painted with delicate patterns of flowers, which merge into a soft-hued carpet beneath your feet. 2 chairs and a cushioned settee face a bright, flickering fireplace on the wall. A desert landscape painting hangs above the fireplace. You see doorways to the south, and in the southeast corner of the room. A white-painted door to the east is closed. Okay. Well, I mean, we could look closer at a lot of things here. But I assume the door to the southeast just is the same as going south and then east. So let's leave this room for the moment and see what was east. You've been here before, but it's a particularly crowded room. Examining your surroundings and details is a valuable skill in interactive fiction. Not everything you feel would need to solve the game, but anything may give you a clue or a detail or an insight, or simply a better sense of where you are. There are at least 12 things around here which are worth a look. You've examined 6 of them. Wow! How dare you! Try look to survey the room or examine a specific thing. I mean, sure. Okay. Can I examine east to look at the east doorway? No. Stairs? I mean, it mentions stuff like, like books, papers. Oh my god, it really is telling me all of this stuff. All right. Books are lined up on shelves, stacked on the floor, scattered and hazard across everything else in the room. You glance at a few titles, gingerly lift a cover, but you recognize none of the many scripts and languages you find. Okay. I mean, do you want me to examine the clutter? Surely not. You look helplessly about. You couldn't catalog it in all a wizard's years. Yeah, okay. Doorway? No, there's no such thing. Okay. Did I already say look at the stairs, or was that a thing? No, there's no stairs. So if I look at plants, it'll say a similar thing, right? No. Okay, because whatever. Sprays of dried leaves, flowers, and seed pods poke out of various pots. Decoration, medicine, research, you have no way to tell. That's at least 9 things in this room you've examined, and you've listed them all. The cabinet, the contents of the cabinet, the dried plants, the books, the clutter. There are 3 more worth a glance. Okay, if you say so. There's instruments. And animals, yeah, and candles. Okay, fine. I'll look at all of this junk. They're beyond you. Okay, fine. Uncommon creatures stare glassily at you or at nothing. And candles? The candles are mounted in sconces high on the walls or set into ornate iron stands. Most are heavy, burned low with age, dripping silent gutters of wax over metal and stone. Every candle you see is lit. Good. That's just about everything in this room which is worth examining. Now, don't feel you have to obsessively examine every word you see in every room. A lot of stuff is just scenery. For example, the plants, animals, instruments, and candles here aren't very important. In a well-written game, you'll have a good idea what's important and what's merely decorative. On the other hand, you have discovered several items of interest. The brass trunk, sure, and the key. Sure. So, I think if this is reminding me you can examine things, but I don't think I missed anything that was actually important before getting reminded. Like, the stuff in the cabinet, did I do that before or after being prompted? I don't remember. I think it was before, right? Yeah, I checked out. The cabinet looked like it might have been important, and then it turned out it just had a bunch of junk I couldn't touch. Maybe some of it will matter later, but it doesn't now. And then I left. And when I came back, I was like, oh, there's more things you could look at, but none of them were actually interesting. So I'll give myself an A+ for recognizing what might be important. Let's go east here. Curtained room. Oh, what was the name of the place to the north? City room. All right. In the center of the room is a massive, high-backed chair. The first time you enter a room, you'll see a detailed description. But if you return to a room, you see just the room name, followed by a list of the more portable objects lying around. You can type look at any time to get the full description. If you get tired of that, try the verbose command. It'll give you a detailed description each time you... Yeah, okay. But I feel like even when I said look in the crowded study, like there was some stuff... This is what I got from look. But the very first time I entered, it said even more. Right? You stand amid clutter. Yeah, these last 2 paragraphs. So, like, even if you do look every time you enter, you can miss something that's special to the first time you enter. Which I concluded earlier. All right, but anyway, here it looks like there wasn't anything, so let's just look again. The walls of this small room are entirely swathed in, I actually don't know, is it swathed? In heavy, oh no, and I don't know how to pronounce brocade. I think it's something like that. Let me look that up. Brocade. No, brocade! How dare you? Okay, brocade. It's a rich silk fabric. Sure. Heavy brocade curtains. The only openings are to the west and the northwest, and a closed lead slab door to the south. Yeah, so northwest is back to the sitting room we saw. In the center of the room is a massive high-backed chair of some pale wood. Directly before it is a tall mirror in a standing frame. You gotta check out the mirror. Ask the mirror who's the fairest of them all. It seems to be a plain oval mirror, suspended in a frame of iron bars. You can't look directly into it from where you're standing. Really? I guess I have to sit in the chair to be a... Okay. Well, let's see if it's got a whoopee cushion on it before I sit. The chair is cut from heavy planks of pale wood. It has a solid base, high arms and back. Nearly a throne, you think. Nearly a throne, you think. The joinery is rough, but the surface has been finished to a smooth fineness. The chair is positioned in front of a standing mirror. All right, well, I'm gonna sit on the chair. Use chair. There is no use command in most text adventures. If there was, what would be the point of writing any others? Yeah, okay, fine. I did. I said sit in the chair. Sit in the chair. How dare you! You told me I could drop unimportant words. I gave you a verb, I gave you a noun. Didn't understand that sentence, my ass. You sit down in the chair facing the mirror. All right, let's check out the mirror, please. You blink and stare into the mirror. How odd. The mirror reflects your chair and the curtains behind you perfectly. But your own form is unclear, as if the mirror were touched with some distorting oil. The blurring is strongest around your upper body. Your head appears to be a faceless blank. Nervously, you raise your hand to your own face. Everything feels in its place, but your reflection has raised a blurred hand to a featureless void. And a dim white shadow seems to flit around your reflected body. Then it is gone. Okay, stand. Got it. So there's a chair and a mirror. Those are the main things. Let's check out the curtains. Probably not important. Looks like flavor, but... Curtains of dark silk brocade fall from ceiling to floor all around you. The rough folds seem to soak up sound. The silence drags at you. Okay, shout hello? To yourself. Good. There is no reply. I'm glad it has implemented shout for me. Great. So there was a door to the south, right? What's going on with that? X door? The door appears to be a single slab of dull gray lead. Perhaps only a sheet of lead covering ordinary wood, but you don't think so. It has no knob, only a small keyhole beneath the heavy opening bar. Well, I have a key. Use... unlock? Unlock door. With key. The copper key does not fit. But there are two other locked doors in the general area. We've tried one of them, and it's also wrong. Okay. So I think that more or less covers this one. You want me to look at the wood? No, that's just the chair. All right. Anything interesting in the frame of the mirror? Nope, it's just the mirror. Got it. Northwest, is that allowed? Can I type that? I can. All right, so what's in the sitting room? We read this description before, but I've forgotten it. Like the flowers and carpet probably don't matter. Two chairs. I don't really know what a settee is. Like a... Is it like a coffee table? In the center of the room, a wide settee faces the fireplace. Its drapes and cushions are swathed in velvet of worn eggshell green. Man, I gotta look up dang a settee. A long seat with a back. Okay, it's like a bench, but for your house. A sofa, but not quite. That was my second guess for what this word means. I'm learning there's a lot of words I don't know. Okay, fine. I mean, we can look at the painting. I can't imagine it's important, but it's on its own line, right? Like, maybe it is. Maybe I can go into it because it's a portal. The painting shows a stark, rocky desert at dawn. The sunlight stains the dusty stones to harsh scarlets and rust, but the land seems serene for all that, unthreatened. Okay, no indication that it's pulsing with magic, inviting me to stick my head into it. I'm just going to take it off the wall real quick. Ah! It's allowed. I didn't think I could do that. That was a prank, bro. I'm sorry. Can I put it down? I can. You can see a desert landscape painting. All right. G doesn't seem to be what I wanted. I think I just typed that without thinking at all. It must be that G was get. In Medivia back in the day. I don't remember that for sure, but it seems plausible. My fingers remember it, even if my brain doesn't. Alright, so what else is in this room again? Chairs? We can check out the fireplace, actually. If you doubted this was a Dreamhold, you're certain now. The fireplace holds no wood, no ash. An odd basket of coiled silver wire holds a heap of glassy, glowing, cherry-red spheres. Insubstantial flames flicker above the spheres, and a mild warmth touches your face and body. But the spheres do not truly burn. They are not consumed. Can I take them? Nope. What is G? Does G mean something else? I don't know what G means. It seemed like it repeated my action, right? I typed G painting, and it was as if I had typed look. But here I typed G sphere, and it was as if I typed eggs fireplace again. I don't know what's up with that. Ow! Despite the mildness of the sphere's warmth, their surface holds some humming, stinging sensation which hovers on the edge of pain. You cannot touch them for even a moment. Yeah, I mean, that's what I expected. Okay. So check out a chair, I guess. Okay. Which do you mean, the leather armchair or the wicker chair? You typed a command that could refer to more than one object. The game is asking you to specify which you mean. You can type the name of one of these objects, for example, and the game will execute your command properly. You can type just part of the name. A single word will usually suffice if it picks out exactly one option. You can also change your mind and type an entirely new command. So if I type leather, is it going to know that I'm still trying to X the chair or not? It does, okay. A rather fat and lumpy leather armchair rests here, facing the fire. Okay. And let's check out the wicker one. A severe chair of wood and wicker stands by the wall. Huh. It's interesting that one of them is pointed out as being by the wall. When I examine it. The other one is described as facing the fire, like this one. Like this sentence just said, oh, they're both facing the fire. Huh. Well, let's check the settee while we're here. In the center of the room, a wide settee faces the fireplace. Oh, I already looked at this. Okay. Well, I don't think there's much use sitting in leather. Sit in leather chair. Yeah, okay. But this hasn't really done anything, so great. Anything about the door? The door is mostly carpentered in panels and painted white. It has an ornate copper doorknob and a tiny keyhole. The door is closed. Open it! Surely it won't be locked. Oh no, it's locked. A locked door with key. The copper key unlocks the door. You turn the knob and swing it open. Let's get out of here. Curving hall. You are in a high, dim corridor, walled in cracked and moldering plaster. The only light comes from tiny flickering candles above. The hall curves gently around from the south to the northwest. You see an open door to the west, archways open to the northeast and east. I'm much more used to, by the way, only having 4 directions, or 6, I guess, from a room. Right, the compass points and up and down. Being allowed to go north and east at the same time is deeply troubling to me. Okay, there's a corridor, there's plaster, tiny candles above. None of those seem interactable at the moment. I'm sure I could examine them, but they're not going to be important. The hall curves from the south to the southwest? What do you mean? I came in from from the south to the northwest. There's an open door to the west, which I came through. Archways open to the northeast and east. So if I go south, I'm like walking through the hallway. Likewise, if I went northwest, I'm guessing. But if I go east or northeast, I'll be going through an archway, stepping out of the hallway into another area. So let's go south. Curving hall, south end. The curving corridor ends here. The blank plaster wall to the south features a large window. Sunlight pours in, brightening this end of the hall. You can go through the archway to the east, take the closed door to the west, or return north along the corridor. Well, the door west, that should lead me back to... No. Because right now, if each of these steps were, like my north, south, and east steps were of equal length, I've gone from the sitting room north, then east, and now south. So I should be roughly east of the sitting room, or the central study, I guess. But directly east of it was the room with the mirror. So I'm east of that or south of it or something. So the closed door to the west, I don't think is one I've seen. But it might lead to the room south of the mirror where the lead door was blocking things off. So let's look at the door. It's a plain door. It's closed. Open door. You pull it open, revealing a narrow flight of stairs ascending out of sight. Up. Dark dome east. You stand at the east edge of a vast round space. It stretches out to the west, arching into an immense dome. A diffuse illumination spreads across the lower reaches, barely bright enough to see by. There's an open archway to the east. Beyond it, stairs descend. You can also see a ladder in the distance at the north edge of the dome. Okay. The edge of a vast round space. So I'm in like it's like I'm in a cave, but it's a dome. It stretches out to the west. So arching into an immense dome. Right. Sure. So the lower parts are okay. If I go west, yes, I can do that. Dark dome center. You stand at the center of a vast round space. To the east is a doorway and a ladder to the north. Far to the north. A low metal pyramid stands in the center of the floor. That seems important. Its surface shines with a dim, oddly shifting gleam. Its base has hinges along one edge and a handle opposite. Okay, it won't let you just abbreviate random words. It's a 6-sided pyramid, perhaps a yard across and standing higher than your knee. Okay. Envisioning. It seems to be made of metal, but it has a strange sheen, as if the surface were engraved with countless parallel lines. Engraved with lots of parallel lines. Countless. Enough that it doesn't have distinct lines, but that it all contributes to some kind of sheen. Okay. Hinges at the base of one edge and a handle imply that the pyramid could be pulled open. Well, pull handle. You crouch, seize the handle, and pull. The pyramid swings smoothly to the side and falls open. It seems to be hollow. Strange, then, how heavy it felt. Revealed within is a conical basket of coiled wire. There was coiled wire fueling the fireplace, and maybe one other thing in the study area? I don't remember. All right, well, let's get the wire, please. The silver wire vanishes into the floor, fastening basket down. Oh, I see. So it's not loose. It's a small construction of silver wire, a spiraled cone, mouth up. The basket is empty. Okay, I don't totally understand. A basket of coiled wire. Oh. The metal pyramid that covered the basket lies open, leaning... Okay. So there... Okay. Want to look more closely at the basket? It's mouth up and empty. So what is it? What is its purpose? It's already open, right? It's not something you can open. All right. I guess I'll leave this for now. When I find something that wants to be put into a basket of coiled wire, I'll know where to go with it, I guess. You stand at the west edge of a vast round space. Yes. At the north edge, you can see a ladder. All the way to the east, there's nothing. There's a doorway. Okay, can I go south from here? No. Oh, you can. All right. You're on the south edge. But there's nothing here, right? Okay, north. I'm in the center. North again. I'm at the north side. A ladder reaches both upwards and downwards from here, passing through openings in the floor and in the dome's skirt. You can also see a doorway off in the distance at the far east edge. Okay, well, let's go down. South alcove. This is a small curved alcove off a large chamber to the north. So I was at the north part of the dome, but it's not talking about the dome. It's telling me that north of me, of the alcove I'm in, is a different large chamber. A plain iron ladder leads up through a shaft. A vast machine spins endlessly in the chamber to the north. I bet it's going to tell me I got to go north to look at it. No? Okay, I can look. Oh. It's a big old machine with a brass disc. You can't see it well from here, and the machine is still spinning. All right, well, let's go look at it. The orrery. Oh, an orrery is like... It's like a... I don't really know. It's some medieval thing. You stand in a wide, tall, and dimly lit chamber. It has 6 sides, smaller alcoves open to the north and south. The chamber is dominated by a vast machine, an engine of gears, shafts, and clattering motion. It is primarily a great stately disc of brass, which turns on a tilted axis. Okay. Smaller wheels pirouette on the disc's face, bearing globes of delicate glass in their complicated courses. Oh, so this is like a model of the solar system kind of thing. The great brass disc continues its revolution. The silver wheel is borne out of reach. You notice a blue mask fluttering to one of the glass globes on the machine's wheels. Okay. The blue mask looks like a blue paper cut out of a human face. Seems to be caught in the rings that circle the tan glass globe. I assume I can't just take it. It's mounted on the silver wheel, which is out of reach. The silver wheel whirs past the top of its orbit. The copper wheel opposite it is at its lowest. So is there like... Yeah. Like, every action I take, the wheel is actively moving, right? So the description is changing here. The copper wheel is born out of reach. So if I... Can I type wait? Time passes. Great brass disc moves. Yep. Silver wheel is low. Do I need to look at the tan one? Okay. A globe of tan glass revolves around the edge of the silver wheel. What the hell? Okay. It's currently passing the center of the brass disc. The tan globe is circled by heavy rings of frosty white. You can see a blue mask caught in the rings. The silver wheel is born out of reach. So, if I wait, the copper wheel is at its lowest. But the silver wheel is the one that has the thing I want on it, right? Take mask. Okay. The copper wheel spins past the high point of the great disc. The silver wheel is at the lowest. The tan globe at the nadir of its own rev... Actually, how do you pronounce that word? I've read it many times. I don't quite know how to pronounce it. Nadir? Nadir. Either of those is acceptable, apparently. All right. At the nadir of its own revolution around that wheel is sweeping just inches above the floor. The mask, fluttering from the tan globe, is now within reach. Well, I'll take it. That's why I waited all these times. You snatch at the blue mask as it whips by. You can't get a grip, but you manage to knock the mask free with the tips of your fingers. It flutters silently to the floor. The great brass disc continues its revolution. Yeah, give me. Your score goes up. So I don't think I have to do anything else with this thing. Let's see what's in the alcove to the north. North alcove. This is a small curved alcove off a large chamber to the south. An archway to the north reveals a flight of ascending stairs. A pale gauzy rag is crumpled at the alcove's edge. I'm not sure how to read this. Is this... Am I overhearing this from somewhere? I think so. But is it reality? The question sparkles with unheeded eagerness. The questioner's gaze is fiercely entangled among the turning rings and delicate gears. Of course it is not, comes the reply. The model has not even the right form. The sky is not full of wheels upon wheels, but... Overrunning the interruption. That does not mean the model lacks power. The voice is suddenly dry. Symbolism and intent, child. What better symbol for power than this? A machine just within our own limits of understanding. Okay, what's going on with this rag? Are there people here? Just a pale, dusty scrap. Oh, well, I'll take it. You never know when you might need it. You lift the rag and spread it in your hands. It's finer than you originally thought. A delicate, cobwebby gauze, but the weave is racked with holes. The machine clatters and whirs. It's not just spinning on. I guess it's just a bunch of different words for it continuing to do its thing. So if I go up, am I going to get zapped by a wizard or something? The curving corridor ends here. This is the curving hall that I was in before, but the west side. In a blank plaster wall relieved by a single window. The window looks out on a strange subterranean prospect to the west. You can return east, pass through the archway to the north, or take the stairs which descend to the south. Well, I'll tell you what. Just a moment ago, I got my second mask, and it looks like this is going to be long enough to be more than one video. So I'm gonna declare a break here, and I'll be back with you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.